Well, folks, I hope you had a good respite there and had a chance to take a break. So we're going to jump right back into our list of things we'd do if we were president. So we left off with number 5. I have a number 6.
Okay.
Institute a mandatory national photo ID card. You got it?
Yep, in the next section.
In the next section. Okay.
It's all right, go ahead.
And I also have number 7.
Okay.
Ban the TV program The View and place all of the panelists in a prison far away.
Just shut their electric off. They are so worthless. I said, well, we'll turn it. I said, Monica, that is a total worthless of electricity. There's just no justification for some of those things.
They are preposterous,
Yep.
and they will not allow anyone to disagree with.
You can't.
No. So we'll go to the long-term items. And what do you have for long-term number 1?
Well, it's current, but it's long-term, and that's inflation. If you don't stop inflation now, inflation's a lot more serious than people think about. They think, well, yeah, this thing was $1 last week at the grocery store, now it's $1.10 or $1.20. But that doesn't stop there. It just keeps going and going and going. And your paycheck, what you got put in your wallet, each week is worth less and less and less. It will not keep you. If you get a raise, it won't keep up with the inflation.
Yeah.
We've seen this in foreign countries when it gets run away.
And the currency becomes useless.
A bucket or a wheelbarrow of money to buy a loaf of bread in post World War II Germany.
Yeah.
You know, if you had money in the bank, it's worthless. It's gone. It's like the bank burned it or somebody stole it or whatever it is. It's just not good for anything.
When I was in Germany in 1963 or 64, the mark was 4 marks to the dollar. 25 cents a piece is what we pay for marks. But yet, if I offered someone, look, here's a couple of marks. It was to a German. It was like I was giving them $20 in gold pieces.
Yeah, there just wasn't anything there.
The mark on the economy, I used to stop at a bakery in the morning when I was going to Nuremberg, and I'd get a warm blood pudding, for lack of another name, and a piece of black bread, and a flip top of beer. 16.7 ounces, I think, in the flip top. Guess what I'd pay? 1 mark 20.
Yep.
Yeah. Not even 30 cents. So currency is a funny thing, and inflation, by the way, that's my number 1 thing too, is attack inflation. It's a killer. But you know who's really getting stomped is the elderly.
Oh, absolutely. There's just they're just taking it right in the forehead.
Yeah.
They're just
and they budget. They're trying to stay in their homes, and pay the taxes that continue to go up in this town like there's no tomorrow.
Well, that's the inflation.
That's it, exactly.
They, on paper, raise your real estate value. Not that it's putting any money in your pocket, it's just on paper. So the town goes by so many cents per thousand valuation. Your valuation goes up, your taxes go up. You get nothing more, it's just, you just pay more.
And the elderly used to keep their money in certificates of deposit.
Yeah,
And earn 6%
Yeah,
or
exactly.
maybe 6.5% for a 4-year deal. And there was their spending money. Okay? But now, with when they dropped the value of the Fed rate down to nothing,
yeah,
well, banks were paying nothing.
yeah.
And so the source of income, safe income for the elderly, was destroyed.
I must say though, my last money market statement, I was up to 1/4% interest. That's up from 1/10%.
Man, there's going to be roast beef in the Weiss
Oh.
household this weekend.
We're going to share and look at the new Lexus.
Wow!
Right.
I'm telling you. Well, I tell you what, we don't realize how much inflation is hurting us.
Yep. It's a sneaky killer.
You know the worst part about it is the prices go up. All right, so the inflationary spiral stops and we get back down to a 2% Fed rate. Do you think the prices are going to come down?
No,
in
not at the same rate
stores?
they went up.
Yeah, that's right.
They never do.
Whatever goes up must come down. Baloney.
Yeah.
Whatever goes up is going to stay up and keep going up.
Because there's a psychological element in that.
Yeah.
People get used to paying a price point.
Bingo bango.
And after a while, they say, well, that's the price.
That's it.
That's what it always been. Well, it hadn't been always that. It crept up during an inflationary period. Now, today in the paper, there's a Ocean State circular. Now, I don't like their bird seed too much either, but their low-end seed used to be $9 for a 20-pound bag. Then it went to 10. Then a few months ago, it went to 11. The circular today, it's 14.
Huh.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just keeps on. It's just a simple little stupid item, but
Yeah.
I mean, it just slowly keeps edging and edging and edging. Now, if that would have went from 9 to 14,
Oh, there would have been panic in the
I mean,
streets.
bird feeders would have went crazy.
Yeah.
But by
Gradually
increment,
doing
you,
it.
you don't notice it, or you do after at a certain point. Then it's a shocker. It's like when a piece of meat was $9.99 or $11.99 a pound. That everybody's got their attention, but that jumped pretty fast during the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah, that. And again, it goes up, it doesn't come down. Number 2 on your long-term list. Oh, by the way, well, let's go back to number 1,
Go ahead,
inflation,
look
for
at
a
something
second.
here. Oh, I know. Go ahead.
The word that came out last week from the head of the Fed, whatever his name
Yeah.
is,
Go ahead.
these are going to be hard times.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's going to be difficult. There's going to be
Hurting times are
pain.
coming. Yeah.
And the market tanked because they know what he's talking
1,000 points.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it wipes out people that have invested, and they retire at 65 or 70 or whatever, and they say, you know what? If stock market continues to go up like 5 or 6% a year, I have enough money for the rest of my life. Well, guess what? When it falls out of bed, all of a sudden you're saying to yourself,
Yeah.
whoops.
Oops.
I'm going to have to get a job delivering papers or shoveling driveways when it snows here to make ends meet. And that's wrong. That is bad.
Perfect segue. Number 3.
Oh, number 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Number 2. We have to fix Social Security and Medicare before it gets out of control.
Yeah, now, you know something?
just segued right into it.
We were all over the place.
Yeah.
On the first batch, 1 and 2 were right on the beam.
Brilliant minds.
Yep. Fix Social Security and Medicare and add a long-term elder care insurance.
That's right.
When the You have to go into the nursing home, and they're charging you 8 gazillion bucks a week or month or whatever. You got to have insurance for that. Those insurance plans that are out there, they're unaffordable.
That's right, they are.
And there's so many different I can't even talk, ifs, ands, and buts that take them off the hook or only pay a portion.
And those of you out there that say, yeah, but you guys are talking about Social Security and Medicare because you're a couple old farts.
Yeah,
Well, let me tell you,
we are.
we are.
Yeah.
But you're going to be the same thing
That's right.
before you know it.
That's exactly right. And it's time to start thinking about things like that and planning for the future. Because I'll tell you, if you don't plan for the future, it's going to bite you in the butt when it comes.
Absolutely. And it comes so fast that you don't even, you think, how did this get here? A couple of months ago at BJ's, I was standing in line, I had my Vietnam veterans hat on. This guy taps me on his shoulder and he turned around, he's got a military hat on too from Vietnam area. He says, how did we get this damned old this damn quick? I said, I don't know. I said, I think about that frequently. How did I get so old so fast? But we did.
We did.
Yep.
Yeah, I get a lot of that. Thanks for your service and all that kind of stuff. And whereabouts in Germany were you? And all that kind of stuff. But I also, young ladies are the number one thankers. Thanks for your service.
Must be the mustache.
That must be it. So fix Social Security and Medicare, add a long-term elder care insurance, and build a lot of elder housing, elder hospitals, and elder nursing homes. Because I don't think private industry is going to be able to do that.
No.
No. I think it's got to be, much as I hate the idea of it, it's got to be the government that does it.
Yeah.
And they've got to take it on like a Marshall Plan.
That's right. This is how it's going to be, and that's how.
Number 3.
All right. This one, I didn't know what to do with it. Simplify our tax codes. They've gotten so complex and so out of hand that nobody knows if they're on foot or horseback anymore. You got people that are probably paying more taxes than they should. You got a whole bunch of people who are paying less, and you got a bunch of people who are paying none. And it's so complex that it shouldn't take an attorney specializing in tax to understand a simple
What the hell
tax.
it's all about.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more.
I don't have any solution, but I just see that as a problem.
I think it, along with a national ID card, I think simplifying the IRS code is an absolute must.
Yeah. It shouldn't be this complex.
No, I'm going to say 75% of the returns could be on 1/2 of one page.
That's right.
I mean, really, how difficult
You got
is
this much tax, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And what we're headed for, I'm afraid, is the government saying, you don't have to file anymore. We have all your statements, we have all your earnings. We'll give you a blanket discount for deductions, and bang, here's your tax. We'll send you the bill. I really worry about that. It seems to me that is overreach, but yet that's one of the things those buggers are talking about.
I don't know, but I don't know what the hell, what that would bring. I don't know.
Yeah. I can imagine what it would bring if you discovered a mistake in their computation.
Yeah, that I think you'd have trouble with.
But maybe the computer can figure it out. But I don't like the sounds of it. Nor do I like the sounds of them hiring how many they're going to hire IRS agents to go snooping into everybody's business.
Well, I think they got to hire somebody.
You better hire somebody to
got
answer
about
the phones.
3 or 5 truckloads, semi-loads of
Yeah.
stuff from 2 years ago. They haven't even opened yet, and people are sitting waiting for refunds.
Yeah. Number 3. What you got?
That was the tax codes number 3 for me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You got a different one in
Yep.
there? Okay.
Attack homelessness
Okay. Yep.
by building and staffing mental health hospitals and hybrid hospital/prison facilities. Build housing units, prefab units, manufactured homes in large quantities, place them strategically near mass transportation and jobs. You know, we can build all bloody homes that we want, or build apartments for the homeless. But if they can't get someplace, if there's not
That's
mass
right.
transportation,
That's true.
you're putting them on an island. And by the same token, if there's no jobs, well, they're going to starve to death.
Yeah.
So, what have we accomplished? So, we've got to do this logically. But we don't have the massive factories anymore with worker-intensive parts being manufactured. The textile industry is a good example of that. It all went to China.
That's right. Your whole manufacturing, the whole industry's gone.
And we did it deliberately because it was a thought. The Obama wing thought, we've got to bring them up. It's their turn to have an industrial revolution.
Plus we
And in the meantime, bonk, we get it right between the eyes.
Plus, we saw the labor savings, which in the long run is going to hurt us.
Which in the long range is going to bite us in the butt. It's biting
time.
us in the butt right now.
Yep.
And I've got something in here later on, but it's basically semiconductor industry.
Yeah.
If we
that
look
should have
at-
never got out of control like that.
If we look at it as a whole, as 100%, 75% are manufactured in East Asia.
Yeah.
And I think 10% perhaps are located around here.
Well, we got our fingers burned on that one,
That we sure did.
and now we're reacting, but it's years to catch up.
And guess what's going to happen? As Taiwan becomes stickier and stickier, there is a huge facility there.
Yeah, they're a big manufacturer of that.
Yeah, they're maybe the biggest in the world.
They are.
And if the Chinese start to dominate, like they did Hong Kong, eat the elephant one bite at a time,
Yep.
yeah, guess what's going to happen to the prices to the U.S.? And it's as a
everything.
result of our own stupidity.
That's why we're trying to play catch up now.
Yeah.
We got going like gangbusters trying to get new factories online and stuff for this, because we should have never let ourselves get into those positions.
Never! And then it's Trump, for all the people that hate him, all right, think about the things he said. We're going to bring back
Manufacturing. That's right.
manufacturing. We're going to bring back headquarters of companies back to this country. Pay taxes in this country.
You can't have a 15, 20,000 mile supply line and not expect to have problems. It just, only an idiot would think it's going to work.
Yeah. By the way, the price of oil's been coming down quite a bit.
Yep.
Russia is flooding the market with oil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We should, maybe you and I should write a letter, from the Bill Crane report saying, Mr. President, what went wrong with your sanctions on Russia? How come they are flooding the world with oil and the prices are coming down? Yeah. What went wrong with that plan, I wonder?
I think it's a good plan, because it brings down the price of oil.
Yes. But we did the sanctions to stop them from the ability to sell oil.
That's right.
And hopefully we shorten this Ukrainian adventure that they've gone on.
But it did. It had an opposite effect at first because it raised the price of oil, and if they sold 10% of what they sold before, well, they didn't lose all that money because the price went crazy.
And by the way, he goes to Saudi Arabia, hat in hand,
Oh yeah, and before that,
on
they
bended knee,
were the tyrants of the world.
and asks them to increase the output of OPEC oil. They're going to increase something, all right. The price. That's what they want to increase.
Countries like Saudi are pretty much maxed already. They don't have any magic thing where they can just turn a valve and.
Are going to cut production,
If anything,
to drive the price up. Of
course.
Oh yeah, there's a big article in the Wall Street Journal yesterday.
Like if you were a producer, I'll throw some more out in the market so I make less on it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that makes good business. Yeah.
But in the meantime,
Yeah.
we got, you don't get the Globe, but past 2 weeks now, they've been for full-page ads from some Canadian petroleum people telling why we should be buying our oil from Canada. It makes a lot of sense.
Of course it does.
It's right next door.
It is. Up in Maine, they get Canadian oil. It is insanity that we don't. But you know what? Did you see the headlines? It was in the Herald. Shortage of oil for the heating season and
Yep.
diesel oil.
The reserves that are in New England.
England.
Yep. They're like half of what they should be.
We should be able to tap the refineries up in Canada and have them pipe it down. Oh, no, we don't want pipelines,
My
do
God,
we?
no.
You know, this president, well, it's not him. I mean, he's to be pitied, really. I mean, but the people behind him that are doing this
Yeah.
are destroying our economy and will destroy our civilization.
Yep. Oh, good. Very well could be.
Yeah.
But only a fool goes out on a limb like that from day one and makes these predictions of what's going to happen, what you're going to do.
Shut down, kill the XL pipeline.
That's it.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen worldwide. The geopolitics of the world tomorrow is going to be 180 degrees what they were 2 weeks ago. You don't know that because you have to be able to react to them, and then you can't if you put something in the way of progress that you can't change rapidly.
Just like the wall on the southern border. He stopped it, stopped construction of it. Now they're going to finish a portion of it because the Democratic legislators in southern Texas, Spanish speaking,
Yeah.
have come to him and said, you've got to finish the wall. This is killing me here.
Yeah.
And the Republicans are going to sweep us out of office. Now all of a sudden, Biden says,
That's
we're
different.
going to finish the wall.
Well, everything's politics. You know, it's just
Yeah.
it comes down to that. It's basically what everything is.
Yep. You know, I got something later on, but I think we'll run to it right now. Do you remember, not too long ago, there was a truck carrying illegal aliens
Yeah.
and
Texas.
in Texas, and because of the intense heat, 53 poor people died.
That's not the first
inside.
incidence of that.
No. So that was on TV for a day or so.
Oh yeah, we got short memories.
Have you seen anything since?
No.
No. And do you think the Biden administration has gone to the networks and said, look, you reported on the story, now kill it, okay? Because that is going to kill me for the election. That is just going to fan the flames of the border being out of control. So do me a favor and never mind any wild editorials about that or anything, because it disappeared. It's out of the papers.
Well, I got a little different take on that. I don't think that Biden really would go to the media. That's the media. They have very short attention spans because they believe we have very short attention spans. You can have a mass killing someplace and they fall all over themselves reporting it. A day or two later,
Well,
disappears.
yes and no. It all depends. If the anti-gun lobby,
if there's other aspects in it,
and then they start grinding,
Then it
and
brings
that whole thing
renews it a
lives
little
for
bit.
a couple of
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah.
but we have short memories and short
yes.
caring as people in this country.
Yep.
You think back, you think that what was on the news, and then you think, well, whatever happened there? What became of it? They don't bother with that.
Like Maura Healey's investigations into the state
yeah.
police. Whatever happened to those, Maura?
But there's a saying in advertising or in the news: if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's a bloody car wreck, you lead that. That's the lead story. But you don't. Bobby won't even know who or what or how or anything else. It's just the fact that it was a bloody car wreck.
Yeah.
That's what we look for. That's what the news people think we want. And that's probably our own fault because we don't. We just whatever they give us, we accept. We don't ask. You don't. But
I think you're right, and I, to be honest with you, Dwayne, I believe that we can look back in the education system in this country that doesn't teach kids how to read.
no, they don't know.
And also, we don't teach, and I should have had this on my list, current events.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite subjects
Oh,
in
me-
school.
Well, we didn't have much. I went to parochial school. We didn't have much for that. They didn't know anything of what was going on. All they knew how to was pray and sing. But you brought up a very good point. Now I love watching that Little League World Series stuff. All the teams and their characters. They said that they had to tutor some of those kids
Yeah.
how to sign an autograph. They didn't know, some of them, how to sign cursive in their name. And other kids were asking, for autographs and stuff.
Sure.
Autograph my hat. And they didn't know how to do it. That's sad.
I don't think they teach cursive
They
in
don't.
school
A
anymore.
lot of schools
Yeah.
don't teach it at all.
They teach them to print.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what, if you look at my stuff, that's all I do is print.
Yeah, I have to because I can't read my handwriting.
Yeah,
Sometimes I can't read it printing either.
yeah. But you're right. But we're doing a damn poor job of
yeah.
preparing kids to be adults. Well, now, how about number 4?
Number 4 is a little different. We have to, and I do not know the specifics of it, but I did not get done what I wanted to do. We have to overhaul our agricultural programs that we've got out there. Food has now become a weapon. We see that with Ukraine and different parts of the world, basically where their drought is killing off crops. Areas that were huge producers for the world are no longer be producers. The onus of that, a lot of it's going to come back to people like us, Brazil.
Going deeper and deeper to find water.
That's right. We've got to overhaul our agricultural programs. I know they've had programs in the past that worked, and some of them were just giveaways.
I have a very interesting article here, and I'm going to bring it up after we get through with this stuff about that very same thing.
We have to tailor our programs to fit the geopolitical situation in the world. We can no longer be an island in this
Yeah.
in the
Right.
population of the world.
Yeah. Now, I cut this out because I want you to tell me about this. But it is a move to get farmers to plant 2 crops a year.
Yeah.
Maybe winter wheat and then soybeans, which I think they do now.
Some places do.
Yeah.
You can get multiple crops at a certain latitudes. Above that latitude, you can't. The growing season is just too low. And there are certain crops you get three. You can get three. Hay, you get a first crop, second crop, third crop of hay off a field, which you can't do it with grains. Corn is too long. Corn's got to be planted already. Well, in the higher latitudes, it's got to be planted already in early April, late March, as soon as the fields are open, and that doesn't get harvested until October.
Now, I've often wondered about winter wheat.
Winter wheat doesn't mean that grows in the winter.
No, it remains dormant.
Yeah,
But it matures earlier.
yeah, it does mature earlier.
And in time for them to throw in another crop.
Maybe.
Now, with that said and done,
You could put in a food crop, probably, on that.
with that said and done, does that mean you've got to refertilize?
Oh, well, it depends on what your land is, but you always fertilize.
Yeah.
Today,
So if you put in a second crop, you're going to have to put in a second fertilize.
you'd put in another fertilizer with it. And a herbicide, probably,
Okay.
because that's done at the same time.
But they're talking about wheat, and they're saying, at $8 a bushel, it would
right.
definitely be very attractive for them to plant a double load.
Now, if I might be mistaken, but I think Monica's brother said you get soybeans when you get 63 bushels to the acre this year, which is a lot of soybeans. Soybeans are very expensive now, or very,
Yeah. Well, there's a huge cry for them for
they're protein
animal
based.
animal feed.
Yeah, and
you know.
human. They make protein stuff out of
Yeah.
them. But we're pretty much down to the Midwest Plains area. That's pretty much corn and oats, or corn and soybeans today.
Yeah.
You don't see many oats around, and I saw that the brewers are getting concerned because nobody's planting barley. So your beer brewers are having trouble coming up with the basic grains.
Well, and once the price of barley goes up, there'll be
Well,
people
then you'll see
planting.
somebody planting it
Yeah.
again. Again, you're right. It's always cost
Absolutely.
and reward. Or
Now, one of the things that I'm concerned about, very concerned, is that too much land is being bought up by builders. And maybe on speculation that they've going to have more room for more people, and as a result, we lose agricultural land.
we do a little, but we see it here. It's a big deal.
Yeah, right.
Somebody's little 80-acre farm gets bought up, and they put $1 million houses on it.
Yeah,
In the agricultural community, from New York on, it just isn't there.
no, and they tend to build the houses too in a little block.
Yeah, they're real
in
close
the
together.
Far corner
Yeah.
of the 160 acres.
No, you got somebody sitting with 3,000 acres. They're not going to develop that in there.
No,
That's going to stay agriculture, and that has become a lot of money.
oh boy, I'll tell
Land
you.
has become terrifically expensive. Consequently, there are some people, many people, that never thought they were going to be millionaires or
Yeah.
multi-millionaires today.
Yeah, it's just like in Kansas when they struck oil after World War II on useless land.
Useless land.
Yeah.
There was an Indian tribe up there, and I read their book. Back in the turn of the century, they gave them this crappy, because they couldn't even grow weeds on it. And it was one of the biggest oil finds in the.
Well, yeah, there was a huge field in Kansas, and there's a little raggedy town. It's laughable, okay? And it has the highest percentage of millionaires of any town in the country.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And they sit right on top of the oil field.
Yep.
And they lease out the land, and man alive.
Well, you get someplace, a little guy sat with 120, 150 acres was just out in farming area. That's just a gentleman farmer type thing, we call it here. He's sitting over $1 million.
Sure. Oh, yeah. I remember talking to a friend of mine.
Well over $1 million.
Yeah. Dawn, that we were talking, and I said, do you invest in the stock market at all? He says, no, I invest in the ground.
Yep.
He said, I just just strictly buy land.
Yeah, well,
He was buying land $200 an acre,
yeah.
and now it's $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 an acre.
Depends on where it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
where it is, yeah.
But good farmland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. And he's, I'm sure that if he's still alive, he must have money in every bank in Kansas.
Yeah, but we have to. I'm not sure. I was going to get from two brother-in-laws what the current programs are in effect, but I know I understand they were modifying. I called it soil bank, but they don't call that anymore. Where they paid you in the past
To sit on it.
to sit on, to put it into a soil bank, but don't raise the crop on it. So you could take a certain percentage of your land and say, all right, this is designated as. You had to put a cover crop to keep erosion and stuff down.
Yeah, yeah,
And they also wanted you to put something like, I don't know, maybe corn or alfalfa or something in it for wildlife preservation.
yeah.
But you never put your best land in the soil bank. If you can put 20%, you took the 20% of the crappiest, steepest side hill, rockiest crap you could find. You know, only a fool
Because if
would
you're
put in.
not going to plant on it,
No, you probably wouldn't have planted anyway.
Yeah.
But I know some of that's gone off now because of the crop usage and stuff. The crop usage, the yield is up
yeah, oh
all
yes,
over, big time. Because because of petroleum.
yeah, yeah. And they're wondering how much that yield can continue to go up.
Yeah. The science has done a lot to farming.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time where I don't remember the numbers anymore, but they used to believe you had to have your rows of corn so far apart. And then they would have the corn stalks, maybe this far, each stalk was about this far apart.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
Now they're this far apart because they just believed you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But they said, well, wait a minute.
It all took was one guy to
Yeah.
prove that you could.
You don't have to do that. Because I remember when I was young, and my grandfather was one of those, he prodded himself on his rows were this
Straight
way, and if you looked also diagonal, and this way, they're all lined up perfectly. And he would go baloney if you didn't have your fields lined up. Even when he plowed, he had to have them furrows, which they were going to turn over anyway, but he wanted them things perfectly straight.
Don't you love guys like that?
Yeah.
Oh, God. What do you got for number 4, my man?
Yours, national ID card.
Okay. And we chewed that one over, but you know, I for the life of me,
Can't understand why
I
we don't.
cannot understand. Every civilized country in
That's
the
right.
world has got them.
Yep.
You gotta have an identity card to cash a check. You gotta have one to get into a building.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
This idea of using driver's license for ID is crazy because every state's different.
It's insanity.
Yep.
One national, and then, well, this is going to discriminate against people. We're going to get a big fall off, and well, I don't quite understand how that's going to happen.
I don't either.
Because your social security number
Yep.
is going to be embedded on that, in that card. That is going to carry your ID to take a flight,
Yep.
to open a checking account, to buy a house. I mean, you name it, and you get, well, some poor old lady that's crippled up isn't going to be able to. Well, let me tell you something. We can have mobile photographing
Absolutely.
units. where
All those problems are relatively easy to overcome. Those are just excuses.
just like snapping your fingers. But they just don't want to do it because, well, it's a Republican idea.
And if you take when you start splitting up 50 states with 50 IDs, somebody in Massachusetts asking for an ID for somebody from Arizona, they have no idea what that Arizona license. I wouldn't know what the hell an Arizona license looks like.
Oh,
A kid could come in if I had a liquor store, want to buy booze, and the thing probably, if he was in Arizona, they would have laughed at him to use it. Here, I don't know. It could be.
Yeah, I know. And the other thing too, with the national ID card, you needed to vote.
Yep.
There's my card. Boop. Okay, Mr. Crane, here's your ballot.
Yep.
And that's it.
It's such a natural.
The big city politicians that stuff ballot boxes, they don't want this.
They don't want that.
No. All right. So, my number 4 is reinvigorate nuclear power in the same fashion as in our warp speed program.
Yeah.
Get it back up and running.
We have to, because we cannot achieve even the moderate idea of clean, renewable energy, whatever you want to call it, without nuclear. It just can't. Right now, our technology doesn't allow us to do that. We can't put up enough solar panels or put enough windmills to supply it.
It's clean. It is non-polluting.
That's right.
It's expensive. It's more expensive than natural gas and all that.
Yeah, it is.
It comes with a
But
price.
it doesn't have to be as expensive as it is. It doesn't have to require 20, 25 years of studies and surveys and everything else.
Yeah.
That can probably be done in 2 years,
Yeah.
not 25, which would
Yeah.
make sense.
And by the way, the licensing process
Yeah,
takes
that's-
9 years before they can start building a
Yeah, that's what I
nuclear
mean. They
plant.
can study and study. and
Give
study.
me a
Yeah.
break. If you get 9 years worth of bureaucracy, I tell you what, line them up and let's shoot them all. Let's start over again.
When I was a kid, I remember there was the power company. There was Northern States Power, NSP, and they wanted to put in a nuclear plant, not, I don't know, 25, 30 miles from where we lived. And they had to study after study after study. They had to build towers. This was years ago. This was 40 or 50 years ago already. They had to build these big towers where they had to analyze the wind, and they had to do this and that. Finally, NSP says, nah, we'll just build a new coal plant down on the Mississippi River. That's
Yeah,
all.
there you go. Yeah. You know, by the way, one of the ancillary benefits to nuclear power is we can stop polluting the landscape
Yeah.
with all these solar panels and these big stupid windmills that kill birds, kill eagles and hawks that hunt with their head down and they just fly right into the blades. To me, faster we return to nuclear power, the better off we're going to be. Number 5, sir.
That was my number 5.
Oh, that was your number 5?
Yeah, I went for inflation, Social Security, tax code, overhaul of agricultural and national ID. You had a couple extras.
I get a couple extras. So my 5 is redo immigration laws, bring in more Europeans who made our country great. Why we ever got away from equal weighting for Europeans as well as anybody else. But we didn't. We shrunk down the number of Europeans and brought in more and more third world country people. And this big learning curve between the two. The Europeans arrived, they're educated, they're ready to go to work. A lot of them have the language. To me, it is very discriminatory. And we look at the cemeteries after World War II.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, and O'Brien and Murphy and Sansone and the French, the Italians, the Germans themselves, the Irish, the Scotch, English who died. And so what we do? Well, we just eliminate any more of them coming, and even their parents or sisters and brothers can't get over here. That's Ted Kennedy's legacy. That's a damn poor legacy. And number 6, my last one. We need to be very concerned about our supply of fresh water.
Yes.
A lot more concerned than climate change issues, in my estimation. And desalinization plants might be in order. And you know, we've got to be thinking about large desal plants
Yep.
and planning for them, designing them, whether we ever build them or not. Maybe, God willing, we never need them.
Yeah. But
But boy, we can't be behind the 8 ball.
that's
on
right.
this.
We can't get caught on something like that because fresh water, palatable water, or potable water is the new oil. And
Yeah.
could be and it will be.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And the way we pollute it, oh, by the way, a chip manufacturing plant uses 800,000
Yeah.
gallons of water.
I was surprised
a day.
at that too, how much water they
I
use.
couldn't believe that. And it's polluted when they get through with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they claim they clean it up a little bit, I guess, but I don't know. But this is incredible.
Yeah. And then, you know, with the snowpack being out west with the Colorado River and Lake Mead and stuff, that can become a real problem.
Yeah.
And for years, you know, they fought over water there.
Yeah. And it looks like it's a losing battle.
Yeah.
I mean, the river has, in some places, just down to knee deep, for heaven's sakes.
Yep. Well, even here, I saw in the paper the picture of the Charles. It was
Yeah.
at some point
I
just
check
a stream.
Charles out every
Do
couple
you?
of days. Yeah, it's way down,
Yeah.
way down. Well, all right. Now, do you think that we can run on this platform of ours?
I think so. I think we'll get elected.
And you think we can win?
Yeah.
All right.
Depends on who backs us. who endorses us? You know, it's
I've got a few interesting little clips here. Big Poppy, David Ortiz.
yeah.
He, for you non-baseball fans, there's a young superstar by the name of Fernando Tatis Jr., who
10.
tested positive.
10.
Tested positive for illegal drugs.
Yeah, that's right.
And this kid is one of the superstars, coming superstars of baseball. This is what David Ortiz had to say about that. By the way, he's getting a full year suspension because he's got a prior. Major League Baseball needs to have some sort of regulations before they make public news like the one that happened to Tatis Jr., Ortiz told Dominican reporter Hector Gomez. I think they haven't handled this situation the right way. We can't kill our product. We're talking about an amazing player.
Amazing player, maybe because of what he was taking.
Yeah. And Dan Shaughnessy says, it sounds like Ortiz is saying, sure, Tatis is using, but fans love him and he's got great numbers, so let's pretend nothing
Yeah,
happened.
that's right.
And that's exactly what he's doing, and that's exactly what he did. He tested positive.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
He
I-
has
that's good.
pretended for all these years that nothing happened.
Yep. And I used to hate Shaughnessy, but lately he makes a lot of sense to me now.
We're all getting older.
It must be.
That must be it.
But when he, like Shaughnessy says, when Ortiz went to Dominican Republic and got shot, come on, folks, think about it. Somebody didn't mistake him for somebody else. He's in a bar that's frequented by drug cartel people.
In it up to his eyeballs.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's there. And then what does he come out with? He's got a marijuana business. Gee, you don't think he made a few contacts down there?
Oh dear, how did all that work out? So
But we fall all over Big Papi as if he was some kind of hero. But I never saw. I don't see him that way.
I don't see him that way at all. He has become a legend, a multi-millionaire, and it's amazing that he just sloughs all this stuff off,
Yep.
you know? Now, that his being shot, did quite an investigation down there in the Dominican
Oh yeah,
Republic.
like Shaughnessy says, he sent down. Well, I forgot the guy's name. It used to be the police superintendent.
Yeah, Ed Davis or
Ed
whatever.
Davis,
his
that
name,
was it. Yeah, he says,
Yeah,
don't hold your breath.
yeah. Don't expect any miracles.
And what he did say was that the only thing I could come up with that he believes that Ortiz and this drug cartel guy must have crossed paths at some point in their past, but he wouldn't say any more than that.
Do you think that David might have double-crossed him a little bit?
I
or-
think there was something going on. Yes, I absolutely do.
I agree. I agree with you. You know, I'm looking for an article that I had that I wanted to show you, but I guess it must be in a different pile. Hey, I got a saying from Ben Franklin. Anything easily obtained is lightly regarded.
Yep, that's right.
How true is that?
Well, it's very.
Old Ben knew what the heck he was talking about, didn't he? In the UK, they expect heating costs to be up more than 80%.
I saw that.
People are going to freeze to death.
Oh, there will be some.
Yeah. The elderly. 72% of home buyers, they did a big poll of home buyers. 72% in the 18 months that follow have buyer's remorse.
Well, okay, you mean from buying?
72% regretted doing it, buying a new home. The reasons: they spent too much money for the house. They paid well above the asking price. They moved too quickly and didn't think it through.
Well, I think I was one of them.
Well, do you know what?
But
This is true.
of course it is.
It is absolutely
I don't
true.
think there's particularly a first-time home buyer out there that
Yeah.
doesn't lay in bed that first night saying, what the hell did I do? I remember we bought that first house in Brockton. We paid like $28,000 and $5 bill.
Okay. And you say to yourself, what the hell did I do? I know.
I laid in bed and I said, Monica, what did we do today?
Yeah.
Did we make the mistake of our life? How are we going to pay
In
for it?
retrospect,
Yeah.
you didn't.
Oh,
but
we didn't. No, of course not.
no.
But I thought, $28,000? Are we crazy?
I know.
What were we thinking
My
of?
first one was 21,000.
Yeah.
So the Gen Z people,
Yep.
the kids, were
kids.
polled
Yeah.
and asked what the ideal job is for them, their number one dream job.
Oh, I can't imagine.
You want to talk about reaching for the stars? The number one job the Gen Z kids want to be. I personally, I can't believe this. Number one job, a corporate recruiter. Number two, a marketing manager. Number three, a social media manager.
Ay.
Number four, a data scientist.
Maybe.
And number five, a product manager. Have the Gen Z kids all gone brain dead?
I think some of them don't know what some of them jobs involve.
I agree with you 1,000,000%. They got no,
No idea.
idea what a marketing manager
Yeah.
does. Quickly, key to the Republicans this fall. I believe that one of the most brilliant political moves of all times was by Newt Gingrich when he came up with the Contract for America. I believe we need, right now, the Republican Party needs a Contract for America going into the fall elections, because we cannot go into the elections by saying, vote for us because Biden is a clown.
Yeah.
Because we do that, we're as bad as they are.
Well, Republicans should have an advantage just historically, because historically the party that's in office has the disadvantage on the midterm elections
Yes.
because they've got something to criticize and compare them to. Okay, two, Bill. And it's going to be an interesting election. And around here, it's going to be a dogfight. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Arroyo and all the leave.
Some good stuff going on.
But just we should pick it up next time on Arroyo and the rats
Yeah,
that jumped off. The rats that jumped off the sinking ship.
They all jumped off
Oh
yesterday.
God, did they jump?
You know what? That'll be one we'll lead off
Yeah.
with, because that whole thing is going to be
my
still
God.
festering.
Oh yeah. And
no.
it just disproves that all of them who used to say, innocent till proven guilty.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
you know what?
Presley,
That's another subject. Innocent
Elizabeth
till proven
Warren,
guilty.
and her puppy dog, and
Yeah.
they didn't wait.
I got some good stuff on that. Innocent till proven guilty. And one pundit said the Republicans will win if they run on groceries, gas, and God.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
That's three things that you can take right
Yeah.
to the bank.
Yep. And they would be wise to do it.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
yeah. Well, you know what? I think along with that, I think we need to roll out Donald Trump next time too. He has the potential to destroy the Republican Party.
Yeah, you sure did.
Yeah. And give the reins back to the Democrats again.
Yep.
And he's bound and determined he's going to run for president.
Yeah. Either if he don't get the nomination, I think he's going to run as an independent.
Will, if he runs for president, if he is elected, will the Democrats burn the country down?
No.
No?
No, that's it. That's his thing. It's me or nothing. I'll leave a scorched earth behind me if you don't. It's not me. I think that defines Trump, and I think that defines his followers too. When he said, "If I don't win this election, it's rigged," way before the election was held, that set the tone for everything.
Yeah.
You can't go back later. Right?
No.
When I saw January 6th, I was sick.
You and me both.
I wanted to puke
Yep.
watching that.
It was terrible. Terrible. And his fingerprints are all over it.
And when, even like Lindsey Graham said this week, if Trump gets indicted, there will be riots in the street. Well, you're setting the tone for that to happen.
Yeah, of course you are.
The guy's a fool to open his mouth like that. Then he tried to say, well, I didn't really mean that.
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, watch what you say.
Yeah. Well, I'm very much afraid that if Trump is elected, I think that they will go back to burning the cities again.
Oh, you mean
The Democrats.
there will be
that
some of
yeah,
that.
I really and truly believe.
But-
and then how he reacts to that. Does he call out the military? Does he declare martial law?
Read Esper's book,
Yeah.
Pride or Oath.
Whatever, yeah.
The Oath,
Yeah.
and see how close we came a couple times
Yeah.
to shooting people on the street.
Boy. Well, folks, we'll get winding the show up. and we promise that we'll be back real soon.